Jesuit administrators, teachers, male colleagues, a totally male student body, until a female joined me 9 years later. In the 50s, my classroom encounters were with GIs. They were mature, intelligent, sincere desire to learn. The medical schools possessed a small number of spaces for freshmen entrants. Thus, many superior pre-meds could not fulfill their dreams of becoming doctors. The students of the 60s demanded relevance. While many students were engrossed in dissecting the cat, a raucous party was brewing outside. Non-biology majors were attempting to climb a flagpole in dissension over a recent college proclamation. My boys remained very attentive of the cat. Why? Practical exam was scheduled for 3 days ahead. In the 70s, the Vietnam War had ended. Peace was anticipated, but a minor disturbance was occurring on campus because females had invaded the masculine domain. Friendly atmosphere soon prevailed as all strove for admission into a professional school. The 80s found me teaching anatomy and physiology at St. Agnes Medical Center. Stressful was my ride, alone on the Broad Street subway with black high school students, whose boom boxes pressed my eardrums to distraction. Compensating for this was the love given with hugs and kisses and small tokens from mothers with small children, all desirous of becoming nurses. In my California home, are you hearing me back there? In my California home are 7 scrapbooks covering my life in St. Joe's. Included are articles from the Bio Digest, the official publication of the Students in Biology Department. To enable students to complete the sections for grading, or to prepare for oral examinations, so-called catch-up labs were held at night. One Bio Digest article reads, "As the sun slowly rises in the eastern sky, and the lights of the anatomy lab go out one by one, a startling discovery is made. What fools we mortal be if we think we can catch up in anatomy." Comparable writings afford me many chuckles when I turn the pages. With no children of my own, my students were truly my boys. In the classroom and laboratory, I observed their personalities and superior abilities. As their advisor, they confided their problems with me, with my confidence in their competence. And the love shown me, my mothering instinct came to fruition. In 1969 to 70, as chairman of the Pre-Medical Advisory Board, I instigated the policy of visiting the deans of Philadelphia schools of health profession in an attempt to convince them of the superiority of the GI boys. That year, of the 65 students who applied, 51 were accepted into professional health schools. Life without playtime makes for a dull person. There were many pleasurable extracurricular activities on campus. Carol and I judged play productions, selected queens of military balls, chaperoned proms, and biology club picnics. Remember the fun at the dances in a boathouse on the bank of the Schuylkill River? Did any of you attend those? The Bellarmine Guild was comprised of mothers of students. On one occasion, I accompanied them on a bus trip to New York to enjoy a theatrical protection. In reciprocity, I invited the mothers to enjoy their sons at work in the laboratory. When the door opened, formaldehyde permeated the air, and the mom scurried down the hall. The 3 entered, one leaning over her son as his shaking hands attempted to maneuver tweezers and scalpel. That mother and her son maintained contact with me long after I left St. Joe's. A South Philadelphia mother confided to me that an embalmed cat had spent the Christmas vacation in her cat garage. My investigation found that several embalmed cats had ridden the Broad Street subway incognito. Proclamation: any missing cat would reward the owner with an effing course. In 1957, at the suggestion of Father Sullivan, 4 faculty wives and I formed the Faculty Wives Club. Members cooked food in the cafeteria and served dinner to our teaching husbands in the faculty lounge at campus. At Christmas time, the children indulged in homemade cookies, cake, candy, and ice cream. Wide-eyed faces were entranced when Santa entered, played by Dr. Bartlett of the chemistry department, and cheers of delight rang out as each child received gifts brought by their parents. Faculty members and office employees opened their homes for parties. The most memorable times were afforded by Father Stokes in a dormitory hall on campus. With cigar hanging from his mouth, Father played the piano as we listened, sang along, or exhibited our not too professional Turkish Korean abilities. It was my husband Carol who bestowed on me the love which nourished me from when I was a shy 19-year-old college graduate until his death after 57 years of married life. Successful teaching demands continuous learning. Carol often relinquished comfortable home living for a life in a motel or dormitory as I pursued study. 4 summers found me on an 8-acre island in Lake Erie pursuing a master's degree at Ohio State University. Fishermen had discovered an important fish food to be a small, pink, worm-like animal known as a larva. I was able to rear the larval form through the pupal resting stage to the adult stage, which was an insect gnat-like animal called a midge. Technically, it had been named Celotanicus. Fishermen had detected this little insect because it invaded their nose and eyes and ears and so on. But after I discovered that this was part of the fish food cycle, they came to sort of revere this little pink worm and the adult midge. As an anatomist, much work went into preparing slides of this larva, in which I identified and sketched the internal organs of the midge larva. I'm certain you're waiting to hear the name of my master's thesis. The anatomy of the 4th instar of the midge Celotanicus scapularis low. At Carol's insistence, I applied to National Science in Chautauqua State for grants. Upon acceptance, I was able to study first plant and animal life at the University of Wyoming, secondly, the flora and fauna of the Southwest of Claremont College in California. Both these studies proved invaluable in general biology courses. Thirdly, human sexuality at the University of Maryland, along with Dr. Catherine Murray, who's to be here this night. I met with her, was with her at the graduation today. And Father Genovese was along with us. We did a team taught course, which, as we pointed out, it filled every seat in the biggest lecture room on campus. Fourthly, gerontology at the University of Massachusetts. Following this study came a sabbatical from St. Joseph's. I visited centers from Philadelphia to southern Florida, which researched on aging. From both of these studies, a team-taught course on aging appeared in evening college curriculum, and seminars were given. Traveling is an indescribable learning experience. Carol and I were fortunate in visiting 93 countries on planet Earth. And our tours were geared for communing with nature. 3 of the most memorable are, first, Nassau in 1958. With the fear of invading water in a depth over my head, Carol convinced me to drop to the ocean's bottom with only a bell helmet over my head. To counteract flotation, one had to crawl along the shell and rock-covered bottom. An explorer led us while shining a brilliant light on animals and plants of the deep, which bore identifying labels which he had applied. Secondly, on safari in Africa, along with 8 English hunters, we were chased by a raging bull elephant. The previous week, that elephant's tusk had penetrated the rover's door and broken the leg of the driver. Thirdly, in the Amazon, our Yaguan Indian guide cut a trail through the jungle with his machete. As the only female in the group of 5 adventurers, I was given the prize spot immediately behind the guide. On one occasion, the guide screamed, "Snake nest," and retreated, leaving me staring at the snakes. Well, all of us stumbling over each other rapidly withdrew, but fortunately the snakes did not follow. In 1 week, I will return to my home in San Diego, which houses many treasures from my life at St. Joe's. First, a silver Christmas bracelet with a nativity charm from the class of 1966, with charms added each year from the following classes. 2, framed declarations of gratitude with signatures from classes of 1968 and 1970. Third, a silver plate engraved from the class of 1974, celebrating carols and my 25 years of service. 4, a very small colored photo of a portrait presented to me by the medical alumni upon my retirement in 1984. Unfortunately, the portrait has disappeared. And I was not responsible for it. 5, also from the class, from the medical alumni, a massive leather-bound scrapbook, with letters from appreciation from former students. My neighbor perused this book and declared, "If ever you're depressed, read a single letter and your spirit will soar." It's been your letters, phone calls, Christmas greetings, visits over the years which have continued to nourish me since my departure from St. Joe's. Recollections of this fabulous day will sit at the top of my memory as I journey onward. If it were humanly possible, to everyone present here, everyone I've ever known on earth, everyone who's departed, I would grasp your hand. I would encircle you with my left arm. I would give you a hug, and I would whisper in your ear, "Thank you so much for your everlasting love. Truly, love is as love does." Thank you.